Hello everyone, and welcome back to this early access look at Hytale. We're planning to do some more adventuring today, hopefully to find an ice or wintry biome. There are another number of items in the Arcanist's workbench that use ice-based items, and also we're still looking for a good place to get gold. So that might be found in the cold biomes. So the plan is just to head north, and we're going to find that. If we do, I'll probably make a few stops along the way. The developers have pushed out the second update for Hytale, which made a number of small changes. If you notice, under my hotbar is a small diamond under the item I have selected. No, where did that marker go? That is a small tweak that they have made to help people see what item they have selected in the brighter biomes. They've made some adjustments to pickaxe strength to make the lower tier ones weaker and the higher tier ones stronger. And I'm running the wrong way. And then there were a bunch of miscellaneous fixes. I think some ores can only be mined by higher tier pickaxes now. And I think the farming table has some things unlock earlier. Because previously, apparently, you needed to get to workbench tier 8 before you could get an iron hoe. And so now it's only workbench tier 4. So, all around simple changes. But it shows that they're working on a roughly weekly schedule for making changes to the game. And that bodes well for the game. Shows that the developers are listening to feedback, acting upon it. They are making reasonable sized changes. They're finding priorities to put things in, and you know, they're listening to the community in general. I know that a number of things I've mentioned here. I know I mentioned the inventory visibility of what item is selected. I've previously mentioned, so something like that is small, but it keeps people interested in the game. And the more people you have interested in the game, the target location's wrong. Weird. And the more people you have in the game, the better the community is. The more people who want to stay playing the game, the more justifications modders have and map makers and such. So, everything seems to be going well, and it should continue. Is this a Quebec place? Cool. I had been thinking that they might only be in the portal area. We can get pumpkins. I don't think we've gotten pumpkins before. But this place is kinda spooky. and turn off their plants. Okay, so this looks like it's just a somewhat fancy place. I'd expect a little bit more from here. Hello. I'm going to get my sword out of my inventory. And this seems to be the same trades that could otherwise be gotten. That pumpkin pie is very strong, meat pie, Caesar salad. Once we get into farming, I'll definitely have to come back to a place like this. So 100, or 200, 300, and only 50. These are very strong and would be wonderful for wandering around. Because the more my stamina is regenerating while I run, the less stamina that is being consumed. It's nice to see their take on a village that is different than Minecraft's villagers. You are called a Quebec, right? Okay. Well, their name may be spelled wrong for the rest of my playtime, but we'll see. Can I just jump off? Okay, and then... Oh, yeah, cool. There's northern lands. Where is this pointing me? That's going to be rough for exploring. But, okay, let us just keep running. And that's cool. And we seem to be on our way to the ice places. Okay, we've made it to our first cold biome. And we immediately see a familiar enemy. Okay, so looks to be mountainous, and we will continue heading north. It's going to take us a while to get out of, I don't know, these, well, alpine hills is what I would call them, and into something more completely wintry. Keeping an eye on finding gold as we go. And not just more copper. Alright, might as well check out what is in these valleys. Looks mostly to just be snow variants of enemies we've seen before. But if it gets us essences of ice, then I am all for it. Because we do want like 100 of those or so. And aerial reach is anything particularly different than the alpine tundra. Okay, let's stop fighting things. Okay, we've gotten to ice flows or something. This was not listed as a particular biome, but it is difficult to control movement on, which I think is cool. Yeah. No sign of gold, and no new enemies so far. I will persist. Oh. 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 Ouch. At least that wasn't filled with lava. Everfrost. Are these more? Oh, there's just azure kelp here. That's a lot of azure kelp. Good God, these things are everywhere. Oh, I really should have just slept in that Quebec village. And I have a teleporter. Why don't I just sleep? Alright. Okay, long distance teleportation seems to work fine. And I'll sleep through that night. And then we go back to Frost. And everything seems to work. And now it's daytime, so I don't have to be harried by a bunch of void creatures every time I go anywhere. Honestly, that is a great quality of life thing. To never be too far from a bed. That looks very culty ritual-y. So we will investigate it, and seems to be 2 other points of interest nearby. Hopefully one of them leads towards a dungeon of sorts. I'm going to preemptively have a fruit skewer for health and stamina regeneration. Okay, so first observation is that there's no snow, which is odd. And glad I ate the fruit skewer. Goodness. Okay. Oh, hello, person at the gate. I was probably supposed to meet first. And he's dead. No, he just went to sleep. Okay, and that's how we get shadow weave things. And oh my goodness, I almost died. If I had not preemptively taken those fruit skewers, probably would have. Okay, well, I guess we wait for a minute. You know, I'm going to put down the teleporter here. Okay, and that way if I do die, I can teleport back, and if I don't die, then it's not that much of a bother to run back here and pick it up. Mostly healed. Fine excuse to have another skewer and get back into things. So, how are you? You seem to be using a cobalt weapon and equipment, which is another thing that I am interested in having. Goodness. They swing real fast and real often. I think that is the primary way that they are more difficult than a lot of other enemies. Can we get a good view of things from here? Arrows seem to be falling short. Yeah, for once, the game has a bunch of enemies and archers all in an open field. And goodness. Honestly, I think it's just better to try and wail on them. Yep. Goodness. Combat in this place is going to be difficult if I'm constantly flanked by archers. These guys aren't bad. Okay, good thing I have this bow. I almost feel like the bow is significantly more useful than the sword. And our first bit of cobalt. That was a cool shot. And what the heck is that? Okay. I think that's the first bit of cobalt we've mined. We've managed to get some from chests and all. Hello. You need to make a lot more sound when you're approaching me. Anyone else sneaking up? Okay. Don't mind me, y'all, just... Okay. I discovered something else new. Outlander Initiate. Oh, I think that's a front entrance. Which means I came in the back. Unless this is also a front entrance? No. And now I keep finding things. interesting. I don't feel like I did equal damage to those, but... now I guess we fight our way around to the front. It's probably best to... stick to the inside of this. Oh dear. Yeah, so fighting 2 enemies is difficult. Fighting an enemy that is 3 enemies at once and is ranged is not fun. Since when do those have ranged attacks? No, they just look the same. A little bit odd that they would run around a corner and then lose track of me. But I guess they were all guarding the front door. See, you can tell that the enemies are evil because they're dropping the shadow essence. You know, and good people don't do that. The Quebecs would never. Okay. I'm keeping the bow charged because if I let go, I shoot, and if I switch off of it, I lose all the bow charge. And it doesn't slow me that down that much. And I'm likely to want to shoot first anyways. Though I would like to eat. Just in case I, say, fall in an icy pit. Very blue-themed place. Oh, okay. I guess it just stops animating after a bit. I don't trust the floor here. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to eat. Oh. I just wanted to turn that off, not, drop it. Okay, is there nothing in here? Right, I have to look at the ground. I did not come into this place with blocks in my inventory. I definitely should have cut down a tree or two. Okay, this place definitely feels like it should be filled with enemies. I think I just heard an arrow shot at me. No? Okay, so in this entire place there's been one guy guarding an apple and a crude arrow. More coffins. Still not finding any gold. Does that person have eyes? Cobalt, leather, shadow scraps, and iron, which we don't need. Sorry, but I'm going to get rid of a lot of plants here. My bad for not really appreciating what plants can be used for. I imagine we will get a lot more resources. And I don't have all the inventory space I might like. Second tier backpack was another, like, 24 medium leather, I think. So, not horrible, but if we want to be able to make the higher tier of armor, then we have to save up for that. Doomed Outlander Sword. Well, we can try it. Thorium, cobalt. Okay, is this just an entirely isolated? Yes, this does not lead anywhere. Cool owl statues, though. Okay. So, for better or worse, I can deconstruct parts of this temple. And... no. I don't think it will fall down on me. Deconstruct parts of this temple and get some blocks that way. I feel like I took a lot of damage from that guy's hit. But anyways. Oh, hello you three up there. Excuse me. You know, I'm generally against cheesing, but when there's like 5 guys in a, like, small area, and in this game, I'm definitely not going to take a fair fight. And they ran away. I'm totally going to be lost in this place. My goodness. Okay, quick break to craft more food. What did this say? So you can only have 3 respawn points. At least it looks like it. That is a little annoying. Because they do serve as markers for things. Okay. You know, I don't really feel like just walking into this room. That, feels scary. Okay, we found something. Again, I'm generally not against cheesing when I think I'm going to be up against multiple enemies. If I see 3 people in this room, and I think one of them is going to summon wolves. Where did they go? What? Okay. Oh, and then we're just in... That's the power of ice. We're just in a cave generation. Huh. 1 minute. I'm going to explore this cave. Then I'm going to test if players can climb on chain. And then we will explore. Oh. So this cave thing is not really a cave, it's just, really just almost part of the train generation. Okay. And what is this? Hey. Temple chest, and interestingly, some kind of path. Cool. Cool, and if you wanted to avoid the fight, you mostly could. This walkway doesn't go past the door, but... Whew, the ladders in this game. Definitely interesting. You know, good to see the developers have put thought into how things are laid out and how a player might explore the space. Whew. Okay, let us test how chains work. Let's not lose too many of those. Okay, thank you for the wood. Frankly, I could just probably place wood blocks, places all the way down. If I just do like that, then I don't even have to test the chain. Until the very end, or so. As I've mentioned before, you have to click every time you want to try and place a block. And yes, chains are climbable. That's weird. Alright. And so what is this? Okay, can I craft some more torches? Let's craft all. Okay, well, that's an extra inventory space. That looks like gold. Gold half brick slab. You taunt me. And a shield. I'm still not certain what the different shields are worth. Is it faster? Maybe? Okay, now we're getting into the wintry underbelly. Seems. Feel like I'm in some kind of Skyrim Solitude dungeon. Gotta pick up some thorium while we're here. If this was Minecraft, I'd be very afraid of how this floor is recessed. No. Goodness. So I have half a theory that the different shields would aid in, like, blocking more or less damage. But so far that doesn't seem to be the case. Sorry, and by blocking more or less damage, I mean more efficiently block damage or not. Daggers. I suppose it has been pretty good that I've been getting all swords, seeing as they are my preferred weapon. I don't think I have any interest in daggers. I've seen some people play, and there's a fancy, like, movement technique you can do with daggers to launch yourself forward. Or just the power attack launches you forward with daggers. But if there's any change in reach, I'd prefer just to stick with the full sword. Okay, let's go back down, explore another branch. Particularly against these guys. Outlander Marauder? Oh dear. Okay. I am going to have to start considering how much food I have eventually. It was nice that I could craft a little bit more, but overall, there are limited amounts of food down here, and, you know, I asked for a dungeon. I did not think it would be like this. And, you know, maybe that's my fault. Sorry, I just felt like I had to close that door. Jerk. And also, like, if I die here, it's going to take quite some time to even figure out how to get back in all this way. You know, there are a lot of twists and curves and such that I've gone through. I now don't know where this enemy is. And... yeah. Couldn't have just walked. Yeah, this is definitely the kind of place where it would be better to explore with a bunch of friends. Of course, who can count on their friends to actually stay together and all is always a question. But yeah. I'm really failing to close that door again. And I am somewhat running out of arrows. How many memories have we found? Okay, 10 so far, including these new piranhas. Oh, wait, I have more arrows. I suppose I should be using more of the built-in light sources. But the torches are good for memory. Goodness, this place is really cool, you know. It's making me feel a lot of, like, do I want to go there? Do I not want to go there? And, you know, that's a good thing to feel from a game. Okay, that is salt. You know, I want to go to most of these places at once. Yes, yes. Ooh, a greater stamina potion. Huh. I'm starting to wonder if this frost area is a higher tier than the desert is. You know, I was assuming that the desert and frost areas would be equal in difficulty and that the burning lands were separate. But that might not be the case. I just want to check what's in the water. Thank you for being so easy to kill. One of the other questions I'm going to find out is how fast do enemies respawn in a place like this? I fought my way in. Am I going to have to fight my way out the entire time that I am? exploring. Oh, it looks like that was a shaman. But he didn't get to summon things. That's what he gets for snoozing on the job, I assume. Interesting how this kind of seamlessly blends into a spider area. And maybe it's just a corner of the base, but still. I may have to rescind that estimation of its strength, because if these chests are consistently giving iron tier items, then goodness. Then this probably can't be as high of a difficulty. Then okay, you're gone. Then the Shadowlands. Goodbye. No longer my problem. I was mostly after the ice. Just start punching each other. Oh, I think they also reduced the amount of damage, like non-weapons do. Don't need charcoal. Don't need half slabs. Can condense a stick. Is there anything fancy in this water? Goodness, this place just keeps going. Definitely feels ominous and feels like a last, like a deepest level. And this just opens into terrain generation, or like cave. What's up here? Okay, well, if there are no enemies around, I'm not very certain what to think of this place. Wow, 11 ice essences in the entirety of exploring this place. But I think this is more about the Shadow Weave scraps. Purple crystal shards. I don't know what the crystals are for. Goodness. Sorry, I'm just thinking, like, I can teleport out of here, which would leave a teleporter down here, which would give me great access to farming Shadow Weave scraps, but then I would have a teleporter down here, and I don't know if I would ever be able to pick it up. And if I want to backtrack out of this place, then, like, right now is my best chance. You know, don't really want to try and backtrack out of this place in, you know, hours of playtime times. Okay, well, I'm going to start winding down this episode. I'm going to consider this place to be completed. Not that I necessarily know what it is called. I might just look at all their names again, come up with something. And yeah. Well, if this is the end of the episode, thank you for watching, and we'll continue exploring from somewhere to somewhere next time.